Is anybody out there yet? Oh, pink mask today. Yesterday was floral. All right, we're getting some people on here already. Okay, let me put this here. You guys hear me there now? No? Yeah? 2 thumbs up. There's Irene. Irene, your background is so white right now. It's like blasting white.
I have all the windows open. That's why. I'm going to draw the drapes right now.
Yeah? Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, that's that Audi dealer. Her Audi has taken a crap again.
Should I buy this one? This green one?
Oh, no.
No?
Oh,
I want the
that one
TT.
belongs in Germany.
I want the TT. Yeah. I'm going to get that one.
Let's see, I got to Frank. Okay, I got to send Frank, AC, Anaheim, share contact, and then John, cabinet. All right. There, okay. All righty. How's everybody doing? You getting ready for the hot weather coming? You listen to the news, looks like this coronavirus thing, we're going to melt. This weekend, we're all going to melt unless you're in a pool. Anybody have any questions before we start? We got like 5 minutes to go or 4 minutes to go.
Who's the man who's coming, Joe? Who is he again?
I forgot. What's his name? No, his name is George Morris. I'll introduce him in a second. He's in C21. He's the #1 office. He's the guys that beat us every year recently out of Utah.
Why do you think that is?
You know, a lot of different reasons. A different market, 650 agents, good leadership. You know, a lot of different things.
650 agents? How does he handle all that?
I don't know. I think they put him in a big room. They don't let him out.
Joe.
Man, Irene, it's bright in your background.
Okay, I'm going to close the windows. I'm closing them.
Yeah?
Or the
you
shade.
should. It's going to be so hot today.
No, not the windows, just the shade.
Alrighty.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, I just darkened it.
I'm doing 2 things at one time here. All right, good. All right. Hey, Joey's here. Is Joey's mom here? Because she wanted to be on here today. Is your mom here? Is she here, Joey? Is she under one of these
Probably
these
not.
numbers? No?
Probably not.
Why don't you text her since she wanted to be on here and she's like,
Good morning.
hey, who's that?
Chris Ramos, Century 21.
Christopher Ramos. How you doing? Are you up already?
I'm up.
I don't see your picture anywhere.
I'm up heading out of the house right now.
Oh, I guess we're not really up 100%. We're just kind of.
Yeah, not 100. Let's like 75.
Yeah. Who was in bed yesterday laying down with their shirt off? Who was that yesterday?
The hell?
That was classic.
You caught somebody at home.
Yeah.
I was on the couch, Joe. I was in the bed.
Who was that? I know it was somebody. Was that it, you, Jesus? No, it wasn't Jesus. You're muted, buddy. You gotta unmute yourself, Jesus.
I was shirtless. Yes, I was shirtless. I was getting ready to go to an appointment, but I was not in bed. 5 minutes later, I was suited up.
My entire watch party went over to you. I couldn't get him back.
No, because when you ask for someone to ask a question, I felt bad that no one ever asked a question, and I didn't want us to sound dumb, like we don't have any questions to ask.
Well,
So
they do
that's
ask
why-
questions. They text me, but I'm trying to get you to ask your own question and not to feel shy. about
Well, I'm not shy. You know that.
not to be
So that's
shy.
why I was kind of forced to come out like this,
Yeah,
just showing the face. Sorry.
that's all right. I'm glad you participated. We got Victor Soto out there. Edgar looks like no, that's Sebastian out there moving around, huh? And whoever iPhone is. And then Elva is always here. Let's see, Jeanette, Irene. Let's see if George Morris is even here. Is he here yet, Brianna?
I am here, man. I'm listening to you loud and clear.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad I didn't start talking about you. All right.
Right.
Hey, listen, we're good friends. You gotta take that jacket off. We're gonna just have a good, comfortable conversation. If you look like that, my guys are gonna think you're an attorney. So take that off and make us feel comfortable.
Do you want me to get a little less official? Like we're going just the jacket or no jacket?
Yeah. Anytime white guys with a suit on walk into the office, we get scared.
You trained me well.
Yeah. Hey, George, anytime a white guy walks into our office with a suit, my people get nervous. Raise your hand if that's true. So where we start our interview with, they really want to know in Utah with the Mormon thing, do you guys really have like 9 wives?
No, not 9, just 2. Just kidding.
Really? It's just 2? Is it really 2?
Yeah. I wish that was the case, man. That Utah is being infiltrated by all our Californians. I mean, every single listing that we take in our California operation, it's either they're moving to Idaho, Texas, or Utah. They say that in Utah, 500,000 people over the next 3 years will move from California to Utah. We're the minority now from a religious standpoint. It's actually kind of interesting.
The Catholics are taking over?
That's right.
So that must be the Hispanics are coming in.
They're coming in. Everybody's coming in, though. I mean, it's a pretty good place to be. Remember, you did that on your video. You said, "Where is this Utah?"
Yeah, where's Utah? That was I remember that was funny. That was
awesome. That was so well done. That was fantastic.
Yeah. All right, gang. Let me start off. Hey, good morning, everybody. Jovia Escusa, C21 All-Stars. Obviously, you're not here to hear me. You're here to hear George Morris, Century 21. What is it? Century 21.
Everest. Yes.
Everest.
Yes. Don't ever forget.
Well,
I'm gonna give you. You need to get a tattoo with it.
Yeah. So George and I have known each other. God, how many years now, George? We met at the Mike Ferry seminar.
Yeah, over for sure over a decade.
Yeah.
Because we're coming up on our 10-year mark for C21. But then we knew each other before that. So I don't know, 10, 12 years.
Good. So let's start off, George. Obviously, you have out of your main office in Utah, how many agents do you have working out of there today?
So we have 587 agents in Utah, and we've got about 432 agents in California, in the Ventura, North LA area. Good. It's all Ventura County, West County, East County, and then North LA up in Santa Clarita and Valencia.
Okay, so most of the agents want to know, what are your people doing? Your most successful agents, pre-pandemic and after right now. What are they doing right now that you see, you have your eyeballs on, that is very successful today?
Yeah, no, great question. I would say that the thing that I've observed most, and I've asked this and I've told this in, many board meetings, or whether I'm sitting in the front of a panel, or whether I'm, sitting one-on-one with an agent, is that if the market's going down, the answer is the same: go talk to people. If the market's going up, the same answer is go talk to people. I watch a lot of people who get very, very fixated on what the market is or isn't doing. But what's interesting is the answers are never the same, are always the same. If you're an agent who's wanting to produce, you need to have a lot of communication with a lot of people. If the market's raging, you still have to have a lot of communication. If the market's going down, you need a lot of communication. If we broke it down into like real specifics, the thing I'm most interested in at a minimum level is that I have every single agent speaking to at least 5 of their sphere of influences per day, 25 per week, 100 per month, 300 per quarter, and having a minimum of 300 people. And it's the greatest asset that you're going to build. And I always ask this question, Joe: if your business isn't getting easier, you're not working your sphere. If your sales prices aren't going up, you're not working your sphere. And if you're finding that the business is even more difficult than it was even 5 years ago, you're not working your sphere. Or even better yet, if people are asking you at social events, family parties, and saying, hey, so what are you doing? Are you still in real estate? And there's a question mark, you know you're still not working your sphere. And yet it's the greatest asset that any one of us will build.
So why do you think that we don't do that?
I think it's a number of reasons.
We've heard the answer before.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with ego. My observation is my biggest mistake, I've been doing this now 26 years. My first 5 years in the business, I never almost worked at all my sphere. And for some reason, I didn't want anyone's help. And I didn't want to have to be able to be that guy who was looking to always try to get a deal. For me, my observation is that once you remove the fact that it's okay, or that or put in the fact that it's okay to get people's help, that we're never going to get to the top of the mountain alone. And that if you can bring tremendous value to the people that know you, who you've worked with, who are your family, friends, loved ones, the fact is that if you bring value, if you offer value, and here's what's crazy is, yeah, of course we can use a script and a dialogue to say, hey, who do you know that's thinking or buying or selling real estate? But the reality is if you bring enough value to those people in regards to real estate, the law of reciprocity will always occur. You will be the source that they go to when it comes to real estate. So my observation is that if you can call, communicate, and talk to a particular individual on a daily basis, or on your sphere on a daily basis, and bring value in regards to the market, what's going on, where it's heading, you're going to have tremendous success at every level.
Okay. Hold on. I just got a visitor here.
Morning, hey, everybody. What's happening? How are you?
Chavez. Get online, dude. All right. Hey, so let me ask you, George, because I've gone out to your office before, incredible operation. You and your partners do so well at what you do. And I thought I was crazy with this group starting training at 8 a.m. At 8 a.m. And when I went to yours, you were doing them at 7 a.m. Is that still going on?
Still going on. 7:15 a.m. every morning. We do a role play. Now we do those role plays where we do breakout rooms. And in the Zoom chat, we have we'll allow up to 12 people in our large conference room just because of the social distancing and the physical distancing that needs to occur. But we're doing it every single day, Monday through Friday, 7:15 a.m. And look, it ebbs and flows, but we have, give or take, 40 to 50 people on that call every single morning. And strangely, it always kind of stays in that framework, but it's kind of where everyone is. It just, it's always often even a different group of people, just as they're ebbing and flowing through their business. And it's just, again, where they're mastering and improving their skill sets and their ability to communicate on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. Just as a side note, I have 5 things on the sphere of influence I would just mention that I want to make sure that are happening. Just number 1 is making sure that at a minimum every single quarter they're calling them. This is common sense. But number 2 is there's a mailing going out, a hard mail, actual postcard of some sort. Make sure that consistency is more important than content. Doesn't necessarily matter what you send. What matters is the consistency. Number 3 is the email campaigns. Number 4 is making sure that there's some level of social media being done. Just again, where you're acknowledging people. And I always say a 3-to-1 ratio. Look, 3 things that are social, 1 thing that's business. And then the 5th, when appropriate, and in ways in which we can do that, but that would be to do client appreciations. My observation is if you'll do those 5 things consistently with 300 people, you're going to generate a 10 to 15% rate of return on that. Meaning you're going to do between 30 to 45 transactions a year with 300 people that are championing your cause. So your greatest asset that you're ever going to build in this industry, a practice just like an attorney, a doctor who sells their practice, a CPA who sells his practice, they have it because they have a sphere. So if you're not working in that sphere and you're turning and burning deals, that is a great tragedy. You're making your life so much more difficult than it could ever need to be.
So let's talk about that 3-to-1 ratio, because I think I was the other way around, or I would be the other way around. I would do 3 business to 1 social. So you're saying 3 socials and 1 business.
Yeah, I think if you, just my own, and people say, what did you read? I'm like, I didn't read it. It's just been my own personal experience. But Joe, I love the stuff you put out. You put out stuff that's on a social basis. And then because you put out social things, I love watching your business stuff.
So let me ask you something. So you look at my stuff?
I do look at your stuff.
Then why don't you give
following
me a thumbs up?
I do. I give you thumbs up all the time.
Whatever.
All right. I'll be more vocal.
Yeah, a little ego there.
I do, but in a serious note, I mean, I love the fact, you know, a great picture of you and your son, or you and Sandra are doing something. I mean, and then you throw your business side into it. And I think, you know, hence the reason social media, make it a social aspect. But then if you'll do a little bit of social, throwing it in with a little bit of business, it seems to be well received. You know, people aren't, you know, winding you down, trying not to listen to you, or blocking you from, you know, hearing what you have to say, because you're truly putting content out there that's, you know, family or, you know, oriented, or, you know, personally oriented. And then of course, business oriented.
Okay. So we know that social media is an important part of what we do, but at the same time, we both know, you and me, that you can't drive your entire business through social media and waiting for things to happen.
The challenge, even, you know, look, the thing that you're seeing right now is, you know, this is, you can have your social media. The challenge is if you take just your friends, there's a lack of predictability with what's going to happen with that. The only thing that seems to be predictable is the amount of calls. But even if you go and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go do Facebook advertising, I'm going to do Zillow ads or Zillow, I'm going to do some other type of aggregation, advertising type of situation on the internet to try to galvanize or try to create some type of feedback and business coming to me. At the end of the day, no matter what, the same answer is the same. I have a number of agents that not only do I coach or within the company that do internet advertising, but at the end of the day, yes, maybe not as profitable per lead, but at the end of the day, they still have to prospect. They still have to call people. They still have to make the conversation occur. It's not drip campaigns by email that they just sit and wait for things to happen. So whether it's going to be internet advertising, social media, for sale by owners, expired listings, just listed, just sold, your past clients, your centers of influence, you know, it knocking doors in areas where we can, or when, you know, when we get back to some normalcy of that, or talking on the phone. At the end of the day, you've got to make sure that you're talking to people. And I don't think that there's a wrong lead source. I just think that you need to, no matter what lead source you go after, man, you better be the master of that lead source. You better drive it and push it. And for me, early on in my career, for sale by owners were my key, man. They are what put me on the map. They are what made things happen. And so my three sources were my Sphere, my for sale by owners, and just listed, just sold. And I sold 100 plus homes a year doing that, man. And I only needed three sources.
Mm-hmm. So, like, do you still coach with the actual ad calls or the scripts regarding for sale by owners and things like that? Are you still active doing that?
Me personally?
Yeah, I mean, do you coach agents and you go through that scripts with them?
Absolutely.
Do you mind going through it with us? I'll be your for sale by owner. Ring, ring.
Yeah, you ring. Hello. Hello. This is hold on.
Uh-oh.
Start that over. I'm usually on the other side.
Yeah.
Hello, is Joe there?
Hi, this is Joe.
Hey, Joe. George Morris, Century 21, local real estate agent in the area.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I was just touching bases with you. I wanted to come out and preview your home and spend about 30 minutes with you, sharing how I could get it sold in 30 days or less.
You know,
now,
George,
what would work better for you, the afternoons or evenings?
Yeah, I appreciate the call. We've gotten a lot of calls, and we're just gonna wait till the summer's over and look at our things that we want to do in the future. But I appreciate your call.
Hey, I appreciate taking the time to answer. And Joe, in fact, if I were you, I'd feel the same way too. I presume you've had a number of different calls. There's a lot of things happening in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. So, hey, share with me just a little bit about your home. How many bedrooms and baths?
Well, I'm sure you know, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's 1,900 square feet. It was on the market 90 days, and we didn't get any offers on it.
Oh, so it was on the market for 90 days. Wow. Yeah, and no offers.
Zero.
Okay, interesting. So share with me, what do you think stopped or prevented it from selling?
Oh, the realtor. It was a part-time realtor. It was a family friend, and she was from outside the area, and we were trying to throw her a bone, and it didn't work. So, we think our, the product is probably a little bit stale out there. We're just going to wait till a couple months and probably do something later with it.
Yeah, interesting. Well, that reminds me, just even in the last week, our organization has sold over 100 different homes. And, I'm not sure if this would work for you, but I want to just ask you a question. If I had a person who was willing to pay the price that you were willing to sell for, would you be willing to still sell the home?
Yeah, but I don't want to get into a contract because I've heard people say that same thing, that they'll bring me a buyer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and Joe, that's the very reason that you and I need to spend just a few minutes together and share with you some of the exciting strategies and tools that we're using to get homes sold in today's market.
All
And
right,
you're right.
Gang, is he talented? Does he know his scripts and dialogues? He's good. And now what's one word that we can probably all incorporate that really galvanizes when you hear it? How about the word share? May I share this information with you? So you hear little words like that, and I wrote it down. I said, God, I got to use this word in my recruiting. If I can share some information with you, how I think Central Realm is going to make a big difference, would you be willing to listen? So, all right, let me open up some questions. I know everybody, they got a ton of questions for you. Who wants to go first? Who wants to go first? Look, everybody's quiet now. You got to unmute yourself. If you want to talk, you got to unmute yourself.
Good morning, George. This is Jesus Barron, C21 All Stars.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Likewise, it's a pleasure to have you and talk to you. So let me ask you, so when you see that an agent is not producing or to their potential, how would you support them? What do you do to get them on track? What do you do, if I may ask you? What would you suggest them to do?
Yeah, no, great question. So my statement always is this: whenever you find yourself in, let's just use a bunch of words here. If you're anxious, depressed, in a funk, off the mark, not making calls, not working hard, feeling disconnected, feeling down and out, feeling discouraged, any of those things, just any realm of that. My observation has been this, is that when I'm sitting with an agent, what I'm most interested in is that if they can find the reasons why they're doing what they're doing versus the sheer willpower and what we might want to call discipline, there's big differences. So for me, when I sit with an agent or spend time with an agent, what I'm most interested in, they may say, hey, I want to sell 50 homes. What I'm most interested in is not that they want to sell 50 homes. What I'm interested in is, why do you want to sell 50 homes? Which really is the representation of the reasons why. Because reasons will never fail you, but your willpower will. So what are the reasons why you want to win at the game of real estate? What are the reasons why you want to earn, 100 grand, 500 grand, $1 million plus, whatever the number is? And if you start to recognize that the thread between our activity and our emotion is really the reasons that drive us. And sometimes the reasons are, I want to hit a certain number. Hey, I want to prove a point. Sometimes our reasons are very simple, and sometimes they're very, very grand. When I first started this business, it was simple. I just wanted to give my wife the opportunity to work or not work as we were having children. And it wasn't something I was like, you can't work and I want you raising our kids. It was, I just want you to have the choice. And so every time I was picking up a phone, I had a reason why I wanted to succeed, because I wanted to give her the choice that she didn't have to work if she didn't want to, as she raised our first daughter. And I've got 5 kids. And today I look back, well, that's not my driving force today. My driving force today is I want to help someone become their very best. And if anyone knows me, people say, well, is it the money? No, but as you become more, you earn more. And so the key here, whenever someone says, hey, go earn $1 million, what I'm most interested in, again, is not necessarily you're $1 million, but I'm most interested is, who do you have to become to earn $1 million? Then all of a sudden the focal point becomes on who you have to become, not simply just how much money. And the challenge is that although money is a critical component to our life, if we misalign our hierarchy, the problem is that money can be very, very empty, but becoming more, helping more, blessing the lives of people, elevating people that you get a chance to touch their lives with, all of a sudden it becomes a totally different answer and a totally different energy that moves through your day. Whenever I'm on a phone, my even today, a little bit of nerves, it doesn't matter where, I have a little bit of nerves always happen. But the fact is me asking myself a better question. How can I help this person? Not versus, well, what will they think about me? How can I help versus, well, wait, how much are they going to ask me to cut my commission? Or will I earn enough money? Will they list with me? I got to push that aside and say, how can I help? And then my life becomes something of where I can give service and help, and the reasons that drive behind it, all of a sudden the discouragement, the anxiety, the call reluctance, the downright, hey, I'm down and out, it starts to move away, because we're coming from a whole different energy of passion and energy for reasons and for the service of others.
Yeah, good question.
Thank you. That was very powerful. Thank you.
Who else had his question? Question. Irene, you just got to say it.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the Jesus for the question, and that was an amazing answer. Thank you. You
Thank
had
you.
a fully loaded answer. Very well said, both of you. May I ask you, George, what do you use for your database and your drip campaign? What do you use?
So of course, we're with Century 21. Of course, there's Business Builder, but
Mhm.
the one that I have pushed most, and also with our coaching company and things that I do some other things on the coaching side, but the one that I'm pushing hard is what's called Wise Agent. I have found that to be incredibly powerful. And the reason why I like Wise Agent is two reasons. Wise Agent works exceptionally well if it's just a one-person user. But if I have a team and I have a team of agents on my team, I can have one administrator who has access at every view to look at every one of the agents on that team and to manage the sphere, to manage the calls, to manage the texts going out, to manage the email campaigns. It's an exceptional program. It's called Wise Agent. And it's nice because as you're going to build a team, it's one of those ones where you can add and take away and have an assistant manage the whole process at one single login. Incredibly user-friendly.
Good. Hey, George, there's a lot of, some newer agents here. So if you were brand new today in the business, knowing what you and I know today, understanding everything going on, when would you start your day? What time? Because I think you and I agree that most agents, they start late most of the time. They get to the office late. They're running late all the time, and you just can't do that. So if you were a brand new agent or an agent that really wanted to excel at the highest level, you want to be the number one agent, whatever it may be, what time do you suggest your people get into the office?
Well, first of all, thank you. I want to say this. So Joe, thank you for having me on this, even though I'm saying this in the middle, but I say that because one of the things that I have found that you have set such a powerful example for me has been this one thing, and that is the ability to share and to give back. Yeah. My observation is that when we get in this business, we often will get very competitive, but there's a different energy when we're here on, in this movement of real estate, that we're here to create things, necessarily compete against people. And so what I've learned from just all the sharing and things I've observed in you is, of course, and that is, I think there's 5 core things that need to happen in regards to the way in which a person starts their day. But I will say this before I give the 5, and they're very quick, but that is just remember that from the moment you wake up till about 12 noon, if you can master from the early morning to about 12 noon, you're going to win the game of real estate. You master the morning, you master your life. So the 5 things, number 1, as I always say, start off with making sure you go to bed on time. Because this business takes a tremendous amount of energy. There's a ton of rejection, there's a ton of emotion, and you need to get proper rest. And I used to never really think that. People will talk about, oh, I can sleep when I'm dead. Well, you know what? That's one thing to say, but the reality is that there is tremendous decisions that are being made, tremendous amount of energy that has to be given. Get proper rest. So number 1, go to bed on time. Number 2, get up on time. My time, I'm a 5 a.m. guy. 4:50 to be exact. And I'm a huge encourager to getting up early. The third is making sure that you're exercising. And I say this statement, and I love this statement. Look, you have to sweat. And the simple question, did you sweat today? That's it. Did you sweat today? Did you work, do something within exercise that made you sweat? Fourth thing is making sure that you prepare yourself mentally and emotionally. I deeply believe that you should be meditating and praying. I deeply believe you should be writing in your journal. And I deeply believe that every morning you should be listening and reading things that'll empower your mindset and your emotional state. So every morning, preparing yourself with practice in regards to the way in which you prepare your mind emotionally by meditation and prayer, writing in your journal, gratitudes and intentions, and then setting the course with what you listen to and what you're reading in regards to your day. And then, of course, the obvious, which is practicing and rehearsing internalized scripts, dialogues in particular situations. And then the last component, of course, is to making sure that you prospect. And if you can do those 5 things, go to bed on time, get up on time, make sure you're exercised. Did you sweat today? Number 4, did you practice and rehearse internalized scripts, dialogues, meditate and pray, write in your journal, and making sure that you read or listen to something powerful. And then last but not least, did you prospect? Did you talk to enough people today? You have to recognize that we are in a sales business. We're in the communication business. And if you're not communicating with people, there is no way you're selling a lot of real estate. It will not happen.
Yeah, but that's great. You know, now that, let's say that's 7, 8 o'clock, whatever time it may be, is that the same today, even though we're at home, most of us, or a lot of us, you know, still waking up? Should we still get up at the same time doing the business, like even though it's Zoom or remotely? Is it the same thing?
Yeah. And Joe, I mean, perfectly said. I mean, I know you're a guy of structure. I have a deep belief. If you take the golf swing, I was with my son. He just made the golf team at our local high school. And we were talking about structure. And I was telling him, I said, look, son, if you will just get your grip right, if you will get your right arm bent right, if you'll get the width of your stance right, if you'll get the ball position right, if you'll get the shaft lean right, if you'll get the proper structure from the beginning, the thing that's interesting, if the structure is set up right, when you swing that club, everything else will work okay. So the key is that, to your point, is I am of a belief that, yes, I mean, I have changed very little with what I do today from even what's happened pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. I am highly structured, and I've realized, a guy who runs with tons of ADD and craziness in his life, if I don't have tons of structure, well, then I'm not going to do very well. So getting up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, exercising, you know, eating at the right times, doing all these things that create the right structure so that you can build this empire of real estate that we all really want, man. So you can hit your dreams, your most sacred desires, so you can achieve what you want to accomplish most. Structure is everything. So the question I would always ask anyone is, look, what structure should be in place? What part of your day needs to be better structured? What would make a bigger difference if you structured it in a different way? What impact would it have? What changes would occur if you got up on time, went to bed on time, you know, made sure that every day you wrote in your journal, every day you meditated and prayed, every day you made sure that you prospected at a certain time for a certain number of hours? That's where the superstars are. That's where the mega producers are. That's where the top productive people operate from, is high levels of structure. And remember, discipline equals freedom. You want to be free? Get disciplined.
Good. That's great. Last question. Anybody have a last question? Because I want to be respectful to George's time, because I know we got him on here last minute. Tomorrow we have, Juan Martinez. How great is that guy?
Yeah, one of my favorite guys, man.
Juan Martinez.
You and Juan, man, are like brothers to me. Both of you. I'd do anything for you guys. You two are like
we're
family.
Both Hispanic? Is that what you're saying?
No, because you have a great heart. And you know what? Both of you have helped me immensely to get where I am. Well, and my observation is that we all need great people in our lives, man. Just, I saw the thing of what books would I recommend. I'll tell you the first thing before I say that. Don't underestimate the magnitude of who you spend your time with. Be so careful of who you spend your time with, guys. Look, if you took your high school student, or you took a young man or young woman, or a son or a daughter, you know this. I mean, I've got kids. All of a sudden I have a kid who starts hanging out with the wrong people, and they start going down the wrong path. So remember, don't think just because you're an adult that your impact of hanging out with the wrong people won't have an impact. Get really clear on who you want to be around, because it'll have a profound impact. And Joe, you've had a profound impact on my life, period. You have.
Thank you. We both talk about this. We won't get into too much detail. There's a lot of imposters out there that are running companies that are promising the world, and they're just, that's just all I have to say, because both you
Joe,
and
but
we have that in
this group that you run, I mean, what you do, I mean, what you see as you walk through your front doors is a tremendous amount of structure, a tremendous amount of professionalism. Wear a tie, get up, get up on time, make the calls, see things done in a way that is done. Too many people in this business, this, are looking for how much can they save versus how much can they do. Yep. And the problem is you can't win big in real estate working from a place of defense. But you can win extraordinarily high if you operate from a high level of offense, and you have an environment that's set up for high level offense. That's who you are. That's what you've done. That's what you've created for these last 2 or 3 decades, or is it 3 decades? Isn't it?
3.
Yeah.
Maybe going to 4.
I mean, good gravy. Mm-hmm. I mean, people are very blessed to be in your environment. Hey, in regards to books, I'm a huge believer. I love a lot of John Maxwell. I would highly recommend 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. I'd also encourage you to read 25 Ways to Win with People by John Maxwell. I also think that if you're looking for a book for decision making in your life, the book called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Guys, if I can just, maybe I'll say this last thing and then anything else you want from me, Joe, but if I can just say this, I have a deep passion for one thing, something I say to my sons often, because they seem to be always the ones kind of getting themselves into trouble, not my daughters. My daughters stay the course. But I always tell my sons, if you don't know where you're going, you're going to have a hard time, getting there. And the key is that for each one of us, man, if you don't know where you're going in regards to your relationships of your life, if you don't know where you're going in regards to the economics of your life or this business, and you don't know where you're going in regards to your health, the key to poor decision making is not knowing where you're going. When you know where you're going in your life, decision making becomes easy. And I just will follow it up with this last statement, this little thing. A year and a half ago, I came home, and in my front living room was a police officer. And he wasn't there just to say hi. It was because my son had done some really stupid things. Fortunately, it ended up to not be as bad as we thought, which is the good news. But in my conversation, when I asked him, what on earth were you thinking? After it was all said and done, what were you thinking? And these were the words he said. He said, I got stuck. And then he said, I forgot where I was going. And that is a true story. Like literally, God strike me down. He said, I forgot where I was going. And at that moment, I realized that if you forget where you're going, you start making stupid decisions. Mm-hmm. If you're a teenager or even if you're a real estate agent. So if you don't know that you're supposed to make 30 contacts a day, 50 contacts today, then when someone says, hey, let's go to lunch, you're like, oh, hey, let's go to lunch. No problem. Because you forgot where you're going. So as simple as making contacts, as simple as the number of deals you're going to do this year, as simple as the number of sphere of influence you're going to reach out to today, if you forget where you're going, you will start making decisions that are out of alignment with where you want to take your life. So get really serious and get really clear. Write out, take a notepad, write that journal, and get really clear on where you're going so that you are never in question. So your decisions are in alignment with the desires of your heart.
Good. Good. Hey, everybody, let's give George a big hand. Starts the morning off right. Everything. We got to know where we're going and where we're heading and how we're going to get there. George, thank you very much. Thanks for your friendship.
Absolutely, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks for jumping on last minute. I know I can always count on you, and vice versa. Let me know if I can help you.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you. We'll get that scheduled here next week.
Good. All right, everybody. I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye.
Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, George.